Rabbi, you there?
Hello.
Hello? Rabbi Kogan.
Slept in this morning. What's going on? We're supposed to do a thing?
Let's do a thing.
Can we do it?
Oh, you don't want... Are you hiding from me? Did you not do your prayer, your moJO yet? Hello? Oh, my God. Do you look at Zizi Tapish?
Yeah, I'm still... I got to take a shower. I got to pray.
Oh.
I'm getting a slow start today.
Oh, so it's prepared. We can't spit it out right now. No?
No, not really ready.
Okay, so not ready for prime time. Hello, shalom. Meine name. Are you ready?
Can you give me 2 seconds? I'm just changing some lights in my apartment.
Okay, or... Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, got it.
It's off.
All right, rocket. Okay, cool. How are you? Are you there?
Yeah, here. I'm good.
Good.
Just running around a little bit crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, crazy's good. Busy is good. I mean, crazy isn't so good, but busy is good.
Yeah. So I'm trying to balance the busy over the crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the story of my life. So it's been a long time. That's all.
Welcome back.
Thanks,
How was
dude.
your trip?
I was just thinking, how am I going to start this conversation? And I thought, well, it wasn't so good for America, but it sure gave points to Israel, my trip, which usually it's the opposite. So I don't know. Maybe things are changing. And Seth Kogan has gone into my brain. You've morphed into my brain and made me think about things, you know?
Well, I'm happy about that, so that's a good thing.
Well, wait a minute. Let's just start it off because we haven't really spoken. We had like one convo in the middle. So, Yalla, hi, this is Elyssa.
And hi, it's Seth.
And we're Short Hills Live. Where are you?
Live in the
No.
Middle East.
All right, one more time. Hi, it's Elyssa.
And it's Seth.
And we're Short Hills Live in the Middle East with a small delay, and we're back to the ghetto series. But we're going to be back in the studio next week. So in the interim of trying to wake you up this morning, first of all, you asked me about New York, so I could tell you a little bit. I never saw so much anger. I never saw a display of... Well, I don't know. I don't know. Since, more than 20 years living in New York City, no one ever bothered me. But it seems every time I go back lately, I get the freaks. Somebody ran after me down Canal Street in broad daylight. That was pretty crazy. And when I told the guard, they're like, oh, yeah, he does that often. I'm like, well, can we get a police in here and lock him up? And then I was harassed during the blackout in a locked-up subway, and these two guys came to my rescue, and it was just humanity at its finest that it made me cry. But, yeah, and, there's a lot of rude people in New York, very much like Israelis, so I don't know, unless they were the Israelis that were in New York. Who knows?
I think we crossed paths in New York. I was there as you were arriving.
So I was watching. I was photographing a Chinese family play with that statue in Time Warner, and then I saw you were standing next to that same statue that was very big with a little member.
Yeah, the little guy.
Well, he's not little. Well, he's big, but his guy is little. Yeah. Boom. And now we're back here, and while I was away, there were these incredible Ethiopian riots. Did they affect you? Were you stuck in any traffic?
We were supposed to go to Jerusalem one night to see the light show, which I very much wanted to do.
Oh, it's spectacular, yeah.
I've seen it before, and it really is spectacular, but it was the time of the Ethiopian riots, so everybody advised for safety not to go. I was going to mention a little bit of, just my insight on the Ethiopian riot. We have to understand that the Ethiopians were rescued by the Israeli state, where planes were sent to rescue them off the garbage heap of the country that they lived in. They have some issues here because they basically had no running water, no electricity, no nothing there. And they came, unlike other Jews, with really basically nothing. And now we have Ethiopian Jews that are on the Supreme Court, are generals, and actually doing quite well in society. But there are still inequalities.
So I would say that they came pretty much uncivilized. Nothing against them. They came uncivilized, but they are highly civilized now.
But my greater point is that these riots are a complete lack of thankfulness. Their standard of living, despite what they might say, is 1,000 times better. They were living like basically in a garbage dump. And to not remember that and to basically be so ungrateful is a huge problem. And I'm not saying all Ethiopians are ungrateful, because there are many that there are. But what we witnessed, certainly, saying that things should be better, you won't get any argument from me. Causing people harm and turning over cars and burning them and hurting people, private property. And these are people that, basically with their tax dollars sent planes to rescue them. The point just should be made that this is ingratitude at the highest level.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think that an Ethiopian is equal to me. I got you. The Ethiopian is equal to me. I'm an immigrant, and so are they. I have witnessed, standing next to whomever who happened to be an Ethiopian, and the way that I've seen, and we're going to just use these racist terms of white Israelis, speak to a fellow Israeli that happens to be Ethiopian was utterly disrespectful and utterly disgusting. Now, what's really fascinating, as a photographer, I'm traveling back and forth to Israel before I made Aliyah. For me, the greatest catch was an Ethiopian soldier, because I thought that was the ultimate. And I hear you. They came from not the greatest situation, and now they are here. I do not think that they are treated like equals, and they should be. I would have been the first one at that protest, my friend. Now, had it gotten violent, I would have freaked out, ran away, and was like, I don't understand why you did that. I get the feeling, and this happens a lot here in Israel with demonstrations, because as a photographer, I've been deep in it. What happens is there is an element here that when there are any kind of demonstrations or riots, and believe me, I ended up on the front page of Yediot Ahronot because of this, there's it's not Antifa. I don't know what we would call it in Israel, but there's a lot of anarchists, and they come in and they take over these riots, and they become a real ugly element of the riots. Can we decipher between an Ethiopian and, say, an illegal immigrant, an Eritrean or a Sudanese, or someone of a black skin color or dark skin color?
Well, that's exactly it.
So,
I don't think that they were all Ethiopian.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's number one. I want to put that out there. And those people are angry because why not be angry? Why not be part of a demonstration to go against the Israeli, the bad Israeli that is the only country in the Middle East that gave these people a space to be where they can pray 5 times a day and be free Muslims here in Israel. Okay, so that whole situation is messed up until they figure out exactly who were the guys that were turning over cars and fires. Because as far as I'm concerned, any Ethiopian I've met along my way, and I have some dear friends, and I treasure them. I think they are presents to the Israeli society and culture. They would never do something like that.
I'm with you. I think that's an excellent point.
And I think we have to keep that in mind. I saw some really horrible things written during that time while I was away from people on Facebook, and I was disgusted. And the first thing I did was reach out to a dear friend of mine, and I'm like, are you in them? He's like, Elyssa, I can't just sit by and let this go on. And I said, no, but you also have a family and you're a good man. I actually think he has a license to carry a gun. He's a security guard. And I said, please don't go to the violence. So, the conversation, he was showing me that who the boy was. Now I'm going to take the next level of that. Let's talk about who that kid was. Those 2 little boys were attacking another boy. An undercover Israeli policeman saw this. He stopped it. Those 2 bullies came back and started attacking his family. He told him he's a cop. He showed him his badge. He did everything. Supposedly he shot the ground because it was a populated area, and it had ricocheted. And they're showing proof of this. So I think
I agree.
I think what happened was it went out to the Ethiopian community, and it's a strong, close-knit group of people because of all the racism against them, because of all the prejudice against them. And it turned into a monster. It's miscommunication. It's unedited. It's, everything I keep talking about of the fake news. And you aroused a people that were upset already. But violence is never the answer.
Well, no, you should be able to peacefully protest, and there's always room for improvement in society. I mean, we have 70 plus countries mixing here, people from the United States. We don't have to go over all the different
No, we don't.
countries.
No, we don't.
Events.
No, we don't.
But
we have a lot of
the point
different.
Is that there's a lot of different cultures, both Ashkenaz, Fard.
Yes, but we don't have there is a very distinct color difference, but even between the Mizrahi, and the Ethiopian.
I think their
An
prejudice is
Ethiopian
all-
stands out. It stands out. It stands out. I'm sorry. We are not colorblind as much as people want to pretend. Although I did have a facial by a girl, I was shocked to realize when she put the lights on again that she was Pakistani, because I don't know. I didn't notice it. I don't know. But the bottom line is...
I'm going to reiterate my former point, which is a very strong one. Prejudice is not a bad thing. People prejudge. That's what makes us successful in life. We decide who we want to hang out with, whether they have nice midot, nice manners, whether, someone, is tall, short. We make all kinds of judgments in life. That's being a human being. And to say that people don't judge or should not judge, that's a protective measure, which is an animal instinct. I decide always who to get into a car with.
Okay, but you saw what I wrote on Facebook the other day, and I said, what do we do nowadays? Where do we go? If I'm in a conversation, how do we describe people? Now, people call white man. I don't know why it's not derogatory unless you say white man is bad or whatever it is. So we have a real problem now in society to even describe people. Like a friend of mine's like, you're racist. I'm like, whatever I am. But I want you to understand a story. I want you to see all the details. Why would I leave something out like that? So it's a difficult
people are
call.
overly sensitive. I mean, they describe the people.
Well, I yelled at you about calling people brown people because I didn't understand it.
What? But I don't. It's not a pejorative. If you're brown, you're brown. If you're white, you're white. If you're red, you're red.
I guess it is. I guess it doesn't sound great, but I don't know. I still am
So you're taking-
on the fence about it.
So you're taking it back. You yelled it at me, but now you think it's just a description.
I told
People are
you were
tall,
getting
people
in
are
my
short.
brain. I was listening. I'm listening. I want to bring up something else because I know you're going to go on and on about that other thing, and I think we've made our point, and point is taken. So I mentioned to you very quickly, an 11-year-old girl was raped by. It's weird about the numbers. It could be a 12-year-old girl or 11-year-old girl. She was raped by 11 boys from the ages of 12 to 17. I'm not exactly
I saw something about it.
Okay.
Give me the specifics. And is this,
So I am doing
is
it.
this
So
a fact or is it alleged? I didn't have time to research it.
okay, well, let me finish my thought, mister. Don't cut me. So this is so far what I figured out. I've been asking friends. The news is sketchy between the English and the Hebrew. It seems as if this investigation is very, very strange. So everything is like, So the last facts I've learned was what I was explaining before. So there's 11 boys between the ages of 12 and 17 that lured this little girl into an empty house and raped her. Boom.
Where?
I said to you, I don't know exactly where it is. Okay, listen, Thury, before you jump. Hold on. From the last of what we heard in the English news, the little girl was taken away. Her family was threatened by the boys that had attacked her. The brothers or something started threatening her mother. So the whole family sort of went into hiding. They have this girl in like crazy therapy. And then my friend read to me this morning from the newspaper in Hebrew, and she said, Elyssa, she was mifageret, which means that's how they say retarded. I believe she was on the spectrum. She was autistic at some level. Who knows what level? And their lawyer of the boys used as a defense, this girl is already retarded. It doesn't really matter how we judge these boys. Something crazy like this. All I know is that I'm part of a women's site in Tel Aviv, and we are going to protest. If we find out that these boys were not suspended and that charges have not been made. Rape is illegal in Israel, I heard. So all these boys need to be charged, whether it is as juveniles, because now it's supposedly the case happened. It happened 4 years ago. The facts are so weird and sketchy, but
I'd have to know more of the facts to comment.
Of course.
Why is it coming out now?
I understand all those things. We all have those questions, but the bottom line is those boys went back to school and that girl went into lockdown pretty much. And that's what we know so far. And so us Anglo women, we are up in arms about this. We're going to do something about it.
Why are you up in arms, and why is it coming out now?
Because those boys were not punished properly.
Were they found guilty?
They put a tape of them raping the girl up on the internet, and they were not charged. So supposedly I'm telling you something. It's sketchy. It's sketchy in the English. It's sketchy in the Hebrew. We don't really know the situation, but there are a lot of things flying around the internet. If you haven't read anything, so it's a non-conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting the story out there so that we understand something is very bad going on.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can't really comment on something that I don't really understand all the facts on, so right. I'll just leave it there.
Right. But then again, do we ever know any facts? You know, I keep talking about this concept. If we're going to talk about fake news or whatever it is, I started really thinking hard about it because there's all these things going up between these ladies in Congress and Trump. Now, I'm sure you have a point on that. And the bottom line is that CNN is editing hard. And they are cutting out what Trump said fully. And it's wrong. And that goes for both sides.
And I don't see what he said. I don't see what he said was wrong. These women are vicious anti-Semites. He said that. I heard him say that. Why can't he say that?
He said they should go back to where they came from. Now, only Ilhan is the only one that was not born here. So I don't know where he wants the other ones to go if they're born American. It's not proper for the president to say that. But they are viciously attacking the U.S. Constitution.
That's not what he said. What he said was that it is a shame to have members of Congress that are so anti-American, who basically said Al-Qaeda are nice people, who basically said some people took down the Twin Towers. These are anarchists and people who are actively rooting against the United States. He said if they don't like it here, they're free to leave. They can go back to wherever they want to go. I mean, I don't know what this... I am in agreement with the president on this. I don't find... He basically is a big defender of the Jewish people. I don't know why he's such a big defender. He has Jewish children and grandchildren. But he basically said that these people hate America. As far as I can see, that's completely true. He said we don't need a faction, a fifth column in our country that so actively hates America. And these people clearly do. Mm-hmm. And I think they're a danger. And I think the president is correct to call them out.
So what I'm saying to you, the point is that the way the news is being reported, it is being highly edited. And so all of what you just said is not out there.
Correct. Because the press is a fifth column also. CNN is fake news. They hate the president. Everything is, the sky is falling. The president can say, I've cured cancer. They say why. He does not get any benefit of the doubt from these vicious anti-American people. The press is the same as these people. They
okay,
hate
so
America.
What I'm saying is...
They root against the president.
What I'm saying is... Excuse me. My turn. Excuse me. What I'm saying, it's about editing, okay? And so that's where we need to start pushing people, not to the news stations, but actually to the live recordings, hearing him in full. I think that it is a disservice to the president that he keeps fighting back instead of just saying, if you want the facts, here's the facts. Here's the full recording. If you're lazy and you don't want to listen, be ignorant. But if you want to know the truth, here's what I said. Here's what Ilhan said. Here's what Alexandria said. Here's what Rashida said. This is the way it needs to be done. I think all this name calling back and forth is getting everybody nowhere. It's just opening up a monster. And I heard it in New York. The minute somebody hit somebody and somebody was of different color, it became a whole race issue. You know, it was really, really messed up.
Yeah, I think the president, and I've said this many times, doesn't get a fair shake from the.
Yeah, but he's
lefty
disgusting.
liberal
He's
media.
not very eloquent in his words. I can say that as a New Yorker. He was never my favorite. I was always a little queasy when, his picture came on, and when he talks, it's not
They
cool what
loved
he's
him
doing.
Before he became a politician, when he was running The Apprentice and making millions and millions of dollars for NBC, they loved him.
Oh,
So
yeah,
this is
I
all-
don't know about love, but he's an ogre. You can't negate it. Don't make him into something that he's not. Is he a good president? I still don't understand. Yes, no, maybe so, because there's so much noise. Are we going to learn the truth about the Clintons, the Obamas? Are we going to learn, or are we just going to keep going, well, they did this and we did this, back and forth and back and forth? Show me the facts. I'm tired. I'm tired on both sides.
We're going to keep doing this because that's politics. Political people label their opponents so that they can beat them because it's all about power. So yes, we're going to continue to do it. This didn't start with Trump, didn't start with Obama.
But he was ridiculous.
this is
He was
thousands of
ridiculous
years
in
old.
Charlottesville. He should have never said there were good people on both sides. It's being used
There
against
were.
him.
He was not. He was. I'm going to stop you right there. His point with the Antifa people came with bats. People have a right to assemble. Even people, that's a freedom of speech.
But that's not a good
issue.
person.
He
So
was completely
Antifa wasn't
correct.
good.
There were good people on both sides.
Who's the good
There-
side? As
there's
a
another one.
supremacist, a white supremacist is good? Antifa is good?
No, there are people that support the South for states' rights and things like that who are not white supremacists.
Who were
Those are good
screaming
people.
bad things about Jews. The bottom line is it was all wrong. He said the wrong words, Seth. I don't think you can keep protecting. I understand you are a Trumpian, but you cannot
No,
protect
I
all
think
his
that
comments.
That's again misquoting the president. It's misquoting him.
Find
It's-
me the exact quote,
What-
and we'll talk about it.
Sure. And when he said that Mexico isn't sending us its best people, they took that out of context also. They
I
take
hear
it out
ya.
of context all the time.
I hear you.
And
But if
Charlottesville
you're being
is
attacked
selling-
as a president, don't keep playing into that thing. As Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. I think no one's going high lately. No
Yeah,
one
the
is going
Obamas
high.
the Obamas are the biggest hypocrites. They don't go high. They're the biggest ones. You can hear Michelle Obama saying she was never proud of America before Obama became president. She is a despicable human being. She doesn't go high at all. Obama, didn't have the courtesy that previous presidents.
Hey, you got
do to just be
homework.
quiet.
You got homework. And I keep cutting you. I'm so sorry. But I want to make this short because it's more work for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this video, and then you can put underneath whatever video you want to show me the proof of what's being said and how.
I don't have to prove it because the president's.
I'd like you
are
to, but I'd
taken out
like
of
you to.
context all the time.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Anywho.
the people that don't want, the people can do their own homework and go and hear what he has to say. I'm not going to do the work for them. The
Well,
president-
you know what? You can't keep throwing out comments. That's how I look at it. You
Why?
want to prove
You just
points?
threw it out. You just said Michelle Obama always goes high. Absolutely.
I
not.
did not say that. Now you see, you're playing on my words. Her thing was, when they go low, we go high. And I said both
she
are
doesn't
going
go high.
low.
Why
And
would you
excuse
say
me, you're not listening today. I said both went low. And on that note, I'll talk to you later. Shabbat shalom. Shalom, shalom. I gotta go because we're gonna go.
Bye.
If you want to put some stuff up, I'm sure everybody would gladly like to hear it. So shalom can be high and shalom could be bye. Peace out, dude. Lots of light.
He's really up.